Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of Film Freaks with a Z. It's your movie podcast where we talk about a single movie in each episode. In today's episode, we're going to be we're going to be revealing the winner of the fan vote. So if you want to hang out for that, that'll be announced at the end, which, probably everyone already knows about it. If you want to recommend a movie to us for the next fan vote, which will be in, 5 episodes, right? 4 episodes. You can always either email us at ff.filmfreaks@gmail.com, or you can just comment on our latest YouTube version of the podcast. Remember, you can also check out the podcast on other platforms like Spotify, iTunes, or is it called Apple Podcast now? There's a whole bunch of them. Anchor has all the links, so all those links are down below, as you all know. All right, let's introduce ourselves. I am, of course, Yemmy the Ferret, aka Yemmy, podcast galore and Twitch streamer. Who am I here with today?
Hello, everyone. It is I, Gritty Waffle.
And I, Taymation.
Coco Gamer.
Hey, how's everyone doing today?
Doing
Not
good.
so bad. How are you?
Oh,
Pretty
not
good.
bad at all. We were chatting about ye old coronavirus beforehand, but let's get into something that's not so dark and heavy, right? Let's have Coco introduce the movie for today, and we'll talk about that.
All right. The movie for today will be Guardians of the Galaxy, which was made in 2014. Gist of the movie is a group of intergalactic criminals must pull together to stop a fanatical warrior with plans to purge the universe. It was directed by James Gunn, and some of the actors are Chris Pratt, Zoe Sarandon. I just said this before. Zoe Sarandon. Good enough. Dave Bautista, Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, Lee Pace, and Michael Rooker. Michael Rooker. Close enough. And for basically just to start off the conversation is I would say for the entire movie, what I most loved about was the CGI in it, because it looked really cool compared for me.
Yeah, for 2014, it came out after all the Avengers movies and stuff like that. It still looks pretty good to this day. I think it looks better than, like, let's say Captain Marvel or something like that.
Yeah, I have to say Captain Marvel.
Black Panther is what I would have said.
Yeah, well, both of those movies are kind of like, I don't know if they were both rushed, but
They were both rushed. That's what happens when you rush visual effects. They don't look good.
They do not look good. But yeah, this one really showed, and I love the outer space somehow. It's probably like a lot from the comics. But it's a lot from the comics, but I'm just saying that it just looked amazing. Like when outer space, the way the plants are shaped, and it was really, really cool.
Yeah, for a movie about space, it definitely had a lot more personality than like Doctor Strange or something like that, where you're in one fixed location and you can't really see out into the. But like, I'm a huge fan of sci-fi, so this movie really, Volume 1 and 2 really, pull at my heart because I love sci-fi movies and sci-fi stuff. So that was one of the many things that brought me into this movie right away, was just that setting of, you're being taken away by aliens.
Well, I think you mentioned it a little bit. I don't remember if it was while we were recording or something when Coco gave us this movie, that this is one of your top S Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And I would agree with that. It's one of my top S. It used to be top 3 until more, like, so many good ones came out, and then it's just like, okay, yeah, I've got to have an S rank, A rank, B rank. But it's definitely the top for me.
Yeah, it's I would still say it's in the S tier. It's got a lot of personality. It's got a lot of fun to it. There's rarely any moments where I was like, oh, that didn't work or anything like that. It's definitely one of those movies that has a very consistent. Well, I don't know if it's a consistent tone, but definitely has a consistent quality all throughout the movie.
The Guardians of the Galaxy is definitely one of my favorite Marvel movies, so I agree with that.
So this movie, I think it's done so well. Like the biggest like I guess plot hole like thing like that you can nitpick at. One of the things you nitpick at is so when all five of them are up in the control tower in the kiln, and
I
the
know.
guys show up with the bazookas, and then they just fire one by one.
Yeah.
And
And so, like I was like, why fire one by one? And my wife was watching it with me last night, and she's like, well, it's probably because if they fire them all at once, it'd be too hot. And then immediately after, he's like, all right, everyone fire at once. It's like,
It's
not that. It's just because we got to give them more time.
Well, also, why didn't they shoot the same spot twice?
Right?
I mean, the glass was cracking. And it looked like a simple punch could break through it. But then you go, all right,
they
fire
kicked
on the other
broke
side.
through the glass.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue I have with this movie. I'm just like, come on.
Yeah.
Like all you had to do is everyone fire at once, and you just make the wall like harder. You know, like, you see
Yeah.
it slowly breaking.
Even if like they did break the window, I don't think that would have really made a huge difference, anyways, because it's not like there was no oxygen in the area that they were in, and eventually they just left it. You know, they crashed it and left through the broken window. So it's like,
Oh yeah,
you could have
Yeah.
easily
Well-
just had them shoot the same spot, blow it up, and be like, all right, let's get out of here and punch it.
yeah. The thing is, if they broke the window, then they could have shot a rocket through the window, and I don't think they would have survived that.
Yeah, and plus to
Maybe
be
not.
floating around while trying to stay still, which rocket's trying to work on something on the control panel.
Well, you know, even though these are like our five main characters, you still kind of feel the pressure of the moment, which is good.
Yes, you do.
Even though you know none of them are gonna die at this point, but
Yeah.
you know, it's still fun.
Too early in the movie. Yeah, that's one proposed. Like he saw it was like one at a time. It's like now all the time. It's like, no, if you're just gonna do that after me, why didn't you do it in the first place?
You know, why don't you just do that first?
Exactly.
I bet
That's my
Nick would
big-
do it all three first.
Yeah.
Why one of them's like, wait, no, just we'll all fire at them. Not listening to you. Because it's all just be idiots.
You know,
Yeah.
that's
But
one
I-
of my favorite scenes of the movie is the Groot reaches up and takes
Oh,
it
yes.
when they're all turned around, and it's like that's just such a funny
Yeah.
moment in the movie, and it's
That's
like just
so Groot,
it's
too.
so genuine. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
that is Groot.
I am Groot.
It's like, oh, I can pick this up. Just, it's
Got
like, hey, I got it for you.
Oh.
Since we're on Groot, I forgot how much I love and miss Groot.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, seeing the movies nowadays, you know, it's just like,
Like,
oh man, I just want Groot back. You know?
He brings he brings something
Yeah.
special as adult Groot. Like baby Groot's great. Teen Groot kind
Yeah.
of sucks.
I think they're
But-
making Alpha Groot now, which is supposed to be the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Yeah, I think Groot's supposed to be back to his full age by the time the next Guardians/Thor movie comes
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
So,
Just for them to kill him again.
they better not.
He's died a lot.
they'll have them split into two different Groots, and it'll be like happy Groot and like depressed Groot. And
Yeah.
That does bring up a good point. If you chop he got his arms chopped off a bunch in this movie.
yeah,
If you
Yes.
chop off his arm and plant the arm, does it make a new Groot?
you know, I think that's George Lucas's ultimate fetish right there.
Chopping off arms?
Yeah.
It is. It definitely is.
That was a lot. Yeah, Groot was
Quentin
just like,
Tarantino's got feet. Lucas got cutting off arms.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know because when his limbs fall off, they just kind of die. So
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of like special stick that was at the end. Spoilers for the end, by the way.
Too right.
I don't know what kind of special stick that was, but it seemed like Rocket just picked up a random piece of Groot and just put it in a pot,
Well,
and
I
that was it.
think what it was is he put it in the pot and he started watering it. I think if you
Yeah.
like water
Kind of
where
like a normal
the
plant.
rest of his sticks are, I guess maybe you'll grow another one. I don't know.
Maybe
Yeah.
I had like a leaf on it or something.
Yeah.
A tiny
Or
leaf.
maybe like his soul can only inhabit one tree man.
So I'll be lucky to get that exact one.
Well, that's the thing. Like when he exploded,
Yeah.
he just showed up. You know, like once Groot picked the stick, he's like, "All right, that's the stick I'm going into.
That's the one right there.
That's the one I gotta go."
And he
into.
like it, but this one, this is it.
This is mine. I wanted to talk about the like I kind of mentioned a little bit before. The tone shifts in the movie are a little bit jarring for it because of the genuine like not really slapstick, but humorous nature of the film, and there was 3 moments in the film where it just didn't feel right. So the beginning of the movie, of course, I mean, his mom's dying of cancer, and then she dies, and then he gets abducted, and it's a very disjointed scene from the next scene where Peter Quill is dancing through and killing rats, right?
Yes.
Then later in the movie, Ronan uses a hammer to squash a guy's head, and the blood drips down the statue or whatever he's sitting on. And that was jarring. And then even farther in the movie, he has the entire prison executed. And these 3 moments in the movie I felt were so disconnected from the rest of the movie, it just was a little bit jarring for me in the end. I don't know if you guys agree with that. Yeah.
No, I agree, but I think that's just James Gunn's style. He likes to superimpose like happy-go-lucky moments with scenes of death.
Speaking of Ronan and his giant hammer, what do you guys think of Ronan in this movie?
I was about to say later down the road that Ronan's my favorite villain. I wish they didn't kill him off so quickly.
Yeah.
But I thought I liked everything about him, like the hammer and just the vibe he gave off. I thought he was cool.
Yeah, I did like that Ronan. That was a cool villain, and he showed that he was not afraid to kill, and he was not afraid of Thanos either, which is before you saw the fear in his eyes, but once he got that power. Once he saw that Power Stone, he knew that. I'm not sure if he would be able to defeat Thanos, because that would be an interesting battle. But he thought that he could be able to just kill everything and anything in that.
Yeah.
Which is true, but also not true.
Well, I mean, all he had. I mean, they were saying all he had to do was touch the stone to the planet's surface, and it would just destroy the whole planet. Which is pretty a scary prospect.
Yeah.
Well, so we'll learn more about this, I guess, in the Eternals movie that's coming out this year.
Oh yeah, I forgot that movie's coming out.
Yeah, so the Celestials were tasked with. I don't know much about it. I saw a little thing on it, but they were tasked with creating life. So. You see the ones. Yeah, you see the one celestial just destroy the planet. And that's what they do. They just if they feel like they failed, so they created life and this didn't work, they just kill them all and start again.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, and that's what they did with the Power Stone.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
I mean, let's be honest here. Ronan could have easily just. I mean.
Killed him.
He could have just killed everyone and just jumped. Yeah. Literally, he could have jumped out of his ship and just slammed his hammer on the ground. I feel like he would have survived that since he survived the blast from that cannon that Rocket made.
You survived the cannon. You survived the fall. So the
ship crashing. Yeah.
So just wondering, what else can he survive?
So I feel like they took the long way around getting to the planet's surface, and then when they did get to the planet's surface, he caught you monologuing, and that was it.
What are you doing? It's just put your hammer to the ground. He's not even stopping you right there. He's just.
That's another one of my favorite parts of the movie, because it's just Peter Quill's just I'm a distraction, you turd bucket, or whatever he says, and it's just it's a great moment because you're
I do love that moment. I'm just looking at logically.
Yeah, I really wish that more of those tonal shift because Ronan is obviously he's monologuing his heart out, and it's a really intense moment just to have Peter Quill dancing in the background and he gets distracted. I wish that more of the parts of the movie that were darker had something like that to lighten it up a little bit, so it could have a constant tone across it. And that's what I like about Volume 2 is the fact that even though there are tonal shifts and stuff like that, it's more gradual and they actually work better with the movie. While in this movie, it's just we're dancing to a song, and then all of a sudden it's I'm gonna smash this guy's face with my hammer, and he's gonna bleed everywhere.
Yeah.
That's to show you he's a bad guy.
Yeah. Although
you mad?
Well, go ahead, Nick. Go.
Well, I was gonna change the subject, but go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you guys feel like this wasn't really meant for kids because of the jokes in the movie, one, and also just how everything kind of happens throughout the movie?
Yeah, definitely not made for kids.
Yeah, it's definitely a PG-13 movie. So
Iron Man wasn't made for kids either, and most of these movies went like more PG-13 weird, which I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Would you, if you think when Ronan met Thanos for the first time, or not the first time, but in this movie, you think Thor challenged his Ronan challenge? Would you things be different? Who would you thought, if I could talk, jeez, who would you think would have won that challenge? Thanos easily? No, maybe.
Because Thanos.
Oh yeah.
Tough one.
Thanos didn't he only have like 1 or 2 Infinity Stones himself? Like he had
He had the Mind Stone because he gave it to Loki. So he didn't have it in this movie.
What's the color of that one? Like
That's the yellow.
Yellow.
Okay, yellow. Okay.
Yeah, he had the yellow
Vision had
one.
it.
But yeah, then he gave it to Loki, and then that went to Vision.
Okay.
Yes.
So by the time this movie came around, he didn't have any Infinity Stones.
Yeah, he was in a suit, and that kind of it was kind of like early Thanos said, and well, spoilers for Endgame, even though we always spoiled Endgame. And when he was planning on getting the stones, but he just hasn't. But he was putting it off.
Yeah.
So he doesn't kind of put it off anymore in Infinity War.
Well, if that's the case, I think Infinity Stone powered Ronan could probably beat Thanos.
Yeah, he probably could. Like, it would be a battle because you know how much they struggled even with the Edge Stone. Like even with when Vision had the Mind Stone, he struggled. So who knows how much Ronan would struggle with using that Power Stone.
Yeah, Ronan definitely couldn't use the full power. Like the times you see him use it on like Rocket and Quill and all of them, like they don't die. It's because he doesn't have full control
pushes them back or knocks
it
them out.
But it doesn't kill them because he doesn't have full power yet.
He's still learning how to use the stone.
Yeah, which Thanos did in Infinity War. You see him slowly get better and better at using the stones to do different things. But yeah, first when he has the Power Stone, he's able to take on Hulk.
That's true.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Beats him into Wimp. That's
really.
Yeah, Ram have his fun. Yeah, Hulk was just being
demolished
so badly. Yeah. It's like one of the reasons like Hulk was they say Hulk did not want to come out because he was being so bad he doesn't want to show it.
Right.
That's what
Hulk was being hulked.
I mean, that's a different movie, but we can discuss that when you pick that one next time.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna link it back to Endgame because that's all. There's so many. Because it's Marvel. That's always the issue I do.
That's perfectly fine by me.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a cinematic universe, so it all makes sense in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Which, that's the one thing, like, going back and watching this, like, I don't think I've watched this one since I saw Volume 2. So, like, that whole first scene where you're just like, his mom died of cancer, and then you find out, it's the dad who gave it to her.
Yeah, it's just like,
She didn't have to die here.
Yeah, I did like that. I actually didn't know that before. I did like him, like, I guess they're like awful, but it was like it really kind of makes sense to Ego's power for like Guardians of the Galaxy 2, like because he literally created plants and he probably gave that cancer to her because I don't know, like once she gave birth to Peter, he didn't need her anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And they even like at the end of the movie kind of hint at the fact that his they're like, fuck that guy, we're keeping the kid, kind of hint at what's gonna come.
But I mean, that is why he's able to wield the stone
because he's
half celestial. And again, the Celestials are the ones who would use the stones to go, nah, this didn't work. Let me just wipe it clean. And Celestials weren't great people.
No, they weren't.
Creatures. I don't know if they're people.
Beings,
yes. That's the word.
Not beans as in like refried. They're
yeah,
just thick things in the universe.
So to shift the conversation back to Guardians of the Galaxy, so before this movie came out, Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax. I mean, these are characters that no one really knew about. I mean, they had comic books, of course, but they were the like D-list heroes of the comic book world. This movie really, I mean, I think one, the people who played each character really gave these characters life and made people like them. And two, I think the setting in general really interested people. So that's how Guardians of the Galaxy became, oh, what the fuck is that, to, oh, this is awesome.
Amazing.
And I've read some of the newer Guardians of the Galaxy comics. Of course, they changed like facial features and stuff like that, so it doesn't look as right. But they're not all that terrible. But then again, I'm not a huge fan of like reading Marvel comics. Like I like the movies, but I don't think the comics are as good as the movies. But the comics that I really do like are the Rocket and Groot ones, where it's just Rocket and Groot hanging around. But the whole Guardians of the Galaxy being together, they've already rebooted the comic book like 5 times since the movie came out. It's hard to keep track of. But this is a long way of saying who's everyone's favorite character?
Who's everyone's favorite character?
That's a tough one.
Groot.
Yeah, mine is Groot. Yeah, as I said earlier.
Well,
I have to say Drax. I'm sorry.
Drax is great. I mean, I love them all. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I love them all, but Drax is so funny.
And y'all know that Rocket Raccoon is my favorite. So
Yeah,
He's a good one too.
yeah, he is a good one.
They're all good. Like, this isn't one where you go like, "Oh, well, you're wrong because I'm right." It's just like, no, I can see why you would think that.
Yeah.
Well, here's the conundrum about Drax. In the moment when they're all coming together, and Peter Quill says, "It's time to give a shit." Why didn't Drax pull down his pants, take a shit, and give it to Peter?
Because he's learning. He's learning metaphors.
He did one a metaphor. He's like, because when he was killing
Metaphor. That was after that.
I don't know
part,
what
though.
they call them, but
The finger across the throat.
Metaphor. Kind of.
Well,
It's like he didn't.
He said that after this.
Yeah, he did
this
say
scene, though,
that.
so I mean,
I'm surprised he didn't. I didn't surprised he didn't make that joke, but I guess they kind of scripted it and he's like, nah, that'd be too weird.
who knows?
James remember, Disney was producing these at this point, so he could only get away with so much.
Yeah.
If this was, around the time of Iron Man, maybe we could have gotten.
Yeah, they
like
probably
that.
maybe that would be a joke. He was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I was like, wait, no.
They went up to Dave Bautista and they were like, "Hey, how do you feel about shitting on the floor?" And he's like, "I don't know about that one, guys."
Yeah. I'm like, I'm more somewhat decent on this actor, on this character.
Yondu would be my strong second. I liked him. I
Ooh,
like
yeah,
his whole
yeah.
idea, like with the arrow and everything, the way he controls it with his mind.
Yeah, they really made him a badass in the second movie. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, I liked him more in the second one,
Yeah.
definitely.
They showed more light on him, and then
well, they
'cause
showed
then-
more of, I mean, of course, he was more of the father figure in that movie, like fighting with Ego. But they showed more of like different sides, or not really, I don't know, different sides, but just the different aspects of his character and made him more likable, as opposed to in this movie where he's just kind of like,
dick.
trying to kill Peter.
it's like they're going to eat you. And somebody was like, oh, they weren't really going to eat you. I'm just surprised that he actually got away with that lie.
Everyone was on board
Nobody's
with
favorite is Nebula.
it. No.
I
My
mean-
problem with Nebula,
I like Nebula. No getting
Yeah.
wrong, but
no, my problem isn't not necessarily the Nebula as a character. It's just how they treat Nebula. Like in every movie, in every Marvel movie that she's in, like she's supposed to be this super badass, but besides like the first scene you see her in this movie, she rarely gets to be a badass, and she's always like getting captured. It's like, come on, guys, she's supposed to be a badass. Treat her like a badass.
exactly.
Trained by with Thanos, but has to use a spaceship to kill Gamora. Come on.
She's supposed to be like the sister who's not as good as Gamora, I guess, but still,
Well,
she is
has
still
all
a
the
badass.
cybernetic enhancements is because Thanos sees her lose and he rips off her arm and then replaces it with a robotic arm to try.
So
and
now
do
we're
better.
going to help Thanos.
Well, yeah, she's
She's
able
still,
to do a few different things.
Yeah, like she can rip off a hand, which she did.
Oh, what
Super-
a great! That'd be my superpower of choice: ripping off my own hand.
Yeah.
George Lucas once again.
He approves.
Do you hear something in the background? No.
The Disney.
He's going insane. Well, I'd like to talk about which kind of popular thing, but still, the soundtrack to this movie is just insane.
Oh, it's a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
Even the original soundtrack for the movie is good.
Yeah.
I mean, those moments where like Groot is, releasing those, light sources, like the music is so well done, has that synthesizer stuff going on. It's awesome. And then the end when they're all holding hands, I mean, that really gives you chills down your spine. It all works really well together with the the actual songs from artists being in the movie as well, which is why like I don't think Black Panther worked as well, because the original soundtrack to Black Panther is just like generic whatever.
Yeah, it's extremely generic, and that's why.
But in
that's
like
why
Guardians of the Galaxy, you're mixing the original soundtrack with
a new
all these
soundtrack.
great songs that also work with the movie as well.
That's the problem with a lot of Marvel music, is it's very
like have
you
that
think about
good.
they're not. Well, I mean, I like the music, but they're not. They're different for each. Like you'll think about like Indiana Jones, he's got a theme. You think about Star Wars, Luke has a theme. Like characters have themes, but in Marvel movies, they don't. They make them like it's like they're trying to get a feeling across, and not necessarily like, oh, this character is someone you know by the music.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and like I said, it's really good music, but it is unfortunately forgettable music.
Yeah, I don't remember what movies came after, or what movie came after Guardians, but it feels like, because I remember
Suicide Squad.
No, that's not Marvel.
I know. Oh, I thought you were just talking about, because a bunch of movies started trying to copy Guardians of the Galaxy by like going, look, we got retro music too. We're going to be a good movie, and then they weren't.
About 3 seconds of Bohemian Rhapsody and Harley Quinn's ass. That's gonna do it.
Right.
I was gonna say, like, I don't remember what movies are after in the Marvel Cinematic Universe from Guardians of the Galaxy, but I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy was like the peak of like combining music with the original soundtrack and having a really good soundtrack, and really not until Volume 2 did they come back around to that, and then after that it just seems like, all right, we're in an Avengers movie, all right, play the Avengers theme song several times.
Age of Ultron comes after Guardians.
Oh, right after Guardians.
Oh, yeah, that was the movie.
Well, that's like the bottom of the bottom right there.
That's the most forgettable Marvel movie ever.
Then Ant-Man.
Ant-Man was good.
Yeah, I didn't mind Ant-Man.
I didn't mind Ant-Man, yeah.
But it didn't have you don't know, like Tay was saying, there's not a soundtrack that you remember from Ant-Man. Like there's no like Ant-Man theme.
Yeah.
It's,
yeah.
In this movie, I can still remember the final theme for the movie and the Groot's theme and stuff like that. But Ant-Man, Black Panther, Captain Marvel.
The only other person I think who has a theme is Winter Soldier, because his is just like this weird like siren like noise. It's like makes you think, just it, like gives you a mental image of somebody who's not right in the head. And that's like the only song.
It's been a very long time since I've seen the Winter Soldier movie.
It's one of my favorites.
Actually, same.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
We know Coco's next pick.
I'm about to say, probably next on Coco's list, so.
If I don't pick it first.
There's a different movie.
Dueling Marvels, fam.
Who's gonna win?
Well, anything else you guys want to say about the Guardians of the Galaxy?
No, I'm good.
Everyone good.
I think we've talked about it pretty well.
Bring it back.
All right, Coco, do you want to start us off with your final thoughts and rating?
Yeah, I do. Let's say as the I'm gonna say, shush. I was gonna say since I'm like I just said, I'm a huge Marvel fan. This is one of my favorite Marvel movies, because even though like there's like one thing that's like one or two plot holes in the movie, it's still just an amazing movie with amazing soundtrack, amazing CGI. So I'll give it a 5 out of 5.
Oh, I'll go next. All right. Being so far into the Marvel series and seeing all these new Marvel movies coming out, like such as the Avengers, it was good to go back to these older classics, I like to call it, and just remind myself of how good and what actually got me into Marvel is these movies. So it was good to see, the old style and like all the good movie, I want to say. Not that I'm dissing Marvel now, but I just feel like, in 2014 when they first started, it was so much better. I don't know, just my take, but it was good to revisit. I would give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Right. I like that you say when we first started, but yeah, 2014 was actually like 6 years into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I think he meant like when
Phase
he
two.
was getting into
Phase
it.
two.
Yeah, when I was getting into it.
That's fair. For me, I'd give it a 5 out of 5. I really enjoy this one. Like I said, it's definitely an S rank Marvel movie. It's one of my favorites. So it's right up there with like Winter Soldier, and I can't remember, Thor Ragnarok was up there too. But yeah.
Yeah, great movie. I mean, I've already mentioned the problems that I had with it, like the tonal shifts just were a little bit too jarring for me, and I think that's the only real thing I have to say that's bad about it. Other than that, I mean, characters. I mean, like I said, Chris Pratt and all these people took these unknown characters and made them into 5 of the most well-known characters in the Marvel Universe now, and most liked characters in the Marvel Universe. And I think that's a testament to their acting, and also a testament to the writers on this movie who formed these characters and made them into personalities that fit the actors as well. Original soundtrack's great, and the soundtrack for the movie in general is great, and the visual aspect of the movie is really good. Even I mean, this was made in 2014, and we've already gone how many years into the future with the CGI, and this movie still looks good. And we didn't mention it, but the actual costumes and makeup work and stuff like that of the movie is also really good as well. I mean, you have people who are entirely pink and they look natural. It's like it looks really good. So yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 4.5 out of 5 as well.
All right.
Good
Okay.
stuff, guys.
All right, so we had the fan vote last episode, which there was 4 movies up for grabs, including Goodfellas, The Good, the Bad, the Weird, Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, and Groundhog Day. We had the vote go for 3 days, and the movie that ended up winning was Groundhog Day, which is by Harold Ramis, or directed by Harold Ramis. It is about a cynical TV weatherman who finds himself reliving the same day over and over and over again when he goes on location to a small town of Punxsutawney, to film a report about their annual Groundhog Day. His predicament drives him to distraction until he sees a way of turning the situation to his advantage. And this movie came out in 1993. Like I said, director was Harold Ramis. It stars the lovable Bill Murray, Andy McDowell, Harold Ramis, Stephen Tobolowsky, and Chris Elliott, to name a few people. This movie was recommended or suggested to us by Jesse Edwards, who you may know him from the Discords or Twitter. He makes a lot of Mario Maker levels. Cool dude. So we'll be reviewing that movie in 2 weeks. Groundhog Day. What do you guys think?
I'm excited. I'm just glad Revenge of the Fallen didn't win.
Yeah.
No, Revenge of the Fallen, I'm happy.
It came in second place, so it'll be in the next one.
Nope. We should just delete it. Never happened. Don't give it another chance, and we should be good. Because then wasn't in last week or last time's poll too?
No, Goodfellas was the one that came up.
Oh, it was Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep Goodfellas then.
Replace it.
No, this is the second time that I thought Goodfellas was going to win without a doubt, and then people didn't come out to vote for it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you got to tell your friends, your parents' friends. Around your dog, yeah. So yeah, we'll watch Groundhog Day, and then we'll come back in 2 weeks and talk to you guys about that movie.
Groundhog Day is on Netflix.
Yes, it's on Netflix, Vudu, YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon Prime. But of course, I'm pretty sure we'll all be watching it from Netflix.
Yes.
All right. Like I said at the beginning, if you want to suggest a movie for us to watch, you can add it to the list by emailing us at ff.filmfreaks@gmail.com, or you can just comment on the latest episode of Film Freaks. That works just as well. I believe we already have a full ballot for the next fan vote, so it might be a little bit until your movie gets suggested, but don't worry. We get through these pretty fast. I mean, how many episodes in? Jeez.
11?
12, something like that.
Yeah.
So what if we started maybe... if we get so many votes, maybe we start doing a tournament, like hold 2 polls, and then the winners of the 2 winners from those polls go to the final poll.
Go head to head, yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Well, right now we just reached the peak for we have 3 other movies plus Revenge of the Fallen, which is coming back. I know you guys don't want it, but it is the rules.
We can change the rules. Yeah. We made them.
We made the rules. We are the rules.
We'll put it up to a fan vote. How about that?
Yeah.
Anyways, that's gonna be it from us. I am Yemmy the Ferret, and I've been here with
Grady Waffle,
Animation,
Coco Gamer,
and we are Film Freakz with a Z. Thanks for listening /watching. Bye bye.
See ya.